Round 20 live tonight from the Dandenong Soccer Complex of NPL Victoria. Bryce Ruthven and Lockie Flanagan taking you through this one at a very cold Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. Lockie, we are rugged up to the nines, and the players, I can tell you what, you can see the fog on your screen right now. Doesn't do it much justice because it is absolutely freezing in the southeast of Melbourne tonight.
Yeah, I think the mercury reading when I turned up here at Frank Holohan was 4 degrees Celsius. It may even have dipped a little bit since then, Bryce, but it is cold, the air temperature, but hopefully the game will be piping hot. These two sides, Altona and Dandenong City, really the only way is up for both of them after last week. Altona suffering that difficult loss against Green Gully, which really didn't reflect, I don't think, the scoreline well on how they played relative. And obviously the home side as well, going down to Oakley Cannons 6-1. So certainly plenty for both these sides to improve and work on in this game, which really is, let's face it, a relegation 6-pointer.
It is. Both sides at the bottom of the ladder looking to get a crucial 3 points tonight, and we'll check out the team lineups, starting with the away side, Altona Magic. In goals, number 1, Stephen King. Number 3, Tom Werndl. Number 27, Janelle De Silva. Number 15, Alex Castillo. Number 6, John Stojewski. Number 4, Troy Ruthven. The captain, number 5, Vinny Leah. Number 20, Jonas Markovsky. Number 10, Sheriff Muhammad Adara. And number 7, Nick Sede. Up top, number 9, John McShane. On the bench, Stefan Ristic in number 11. Dimi Hatzimaratis in number 8. Stefan Juranaris in number 18. Jack Thorpe, number 21. And in number 2, Marios Jurandars, as we see Stojewski finding the back line for Altona Magic. And for the home side tonight, Dandenong Thunder. In goals for them, number 1, Yasmin Karanovic. Number 14, Jaden Unmack. Number 4, Nathan Cook. Number 36, the captain, Stephen Topalovic. Number 18, Lucas Slavka. Number 8, Gavin Denise. Number 23, Nick Kalmar. Number 25, Brady Smith. Number 24, Tasluk Peck. Number 9, Braden Mann. And number 13, Jacob Brito on the bench for City. Number 12, Sammy Nyor. Number 7, Delnaro Farrow. Number 19, Massimus Romaro. Number 16, Liam Kennedy. And number 20, Martin Palnich. So these sides, as you can hear, pretty much as close to full strength as possible. As we see Dandenong City looking to get some positive attack in the opening stages, Lockie.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this Dandenong City side lines up this evening. Obviously things did not go their way last week, and they looked like they sorely missed Stephen Topalovic after he missed that game last week with suspension. That 4-3 win against Heidelberg seems like such an eon ago. But interesting to see how some of the newer faces and some of the younger faces as well are slotting into this side. Brady Smith, we've seen him play a lot of defensive positions this season since he signed in the mid-season window from Bangladesh. He's playing central defensive midfield today, and you've got Taslak Peck filling in that left-back slot. Lucas Slavica, who has been playing in that left-back position, now moving his way into midfield, maybe in a double pivot with Brady Smith. So a few tweaks from Mickey Choliner. I'm very interested to see how they work out.
Stephen King plays it short to De Silva. He comes into Ruthven. He's got some space out left, and he'll try and find it. Unmack intercepts that pass. And Costello playing it short. Vinny Leah riding a challenge on Jacob Britzo, and plenty of experience at both NPL and A-League level on the pitch tonight here. Vinny Leah, the captain's armband for Altona Magic. Stephen Topalovic, the captain for Dandenong City. So both have plenty of experience at a higher level, and it could be that experience that helps their side tonight.
Certainly. I mean, particularly Vince Leah has chipped in with quite a few goals in an Altona Magic side who have found the goals hard to come by, and there's not really anyone who's stood out as an out-and-out top goal scorer. So his goals really, all three of them have been particularly valuable. And yeah, we saw the difference that not having Stephen Topalovic in this side, in the heart of defence, makes last week against Oakley. Not to labour the point.
It's essentially an A-League battle in the middle of the park with Vinny Leah up against Nick Kalmar. So keep an eye on that battle as Nick Sete slips over, and the pitch, it must be said, isn't in the best condition. The condition of a bit of rain during the week would have softened it up and made it a bit slippery going off into a 20s game, and look, it could be a leveller
It certainly could be. I think these two sides, having said that though, I think they'll still be pretty even, both desperately searching for a point, if not more, and they've got to keep themselves ahead of St Albans. But really, Bryce, is more than likely, barring any surprises, a slip up from the Eastern Lions, it's probably going to be one of the two sides that we see tonight potentially joining St Albans Saints in the relegation. So 3 points tonight is just so important.
It'll be a case of who can hold their nerve better. In the NPL Victoria, as you see Vinny Leah turn the ball over. Nick Kalmar gets the scraps. Jacob Brito going short to Slavka. Playing in a more advanced role tonight, as Lockie said. Nathan Cook. Chance to drive forward past John McShane. He plays the ball out wide to Kalmar, who's in a bit of space on the right wing. He can come central with it, and he puts the ball looking for the back post. Braden Mann now jumped by De Silva. And Mohamed Adara trying to play it short. Works in with Jonas Markovsky, but they turn the ball over cheaply on their right wing. Don't forget as well, if you are watching on our Facebook live stream through the NPL Victoria page, or of course YouTube as well, you can get your comments coming through any time. Let us know your thoughts on the game, who you're supporting, or thoughts on any players in particular. As we see Altona just trying to clear some lines and get some possession higher up the park and apply that forward pressure. But Jaden Unmark, he's got the chance to drive forward. Comes back to Brady Smith. Finds Slavka, comes back to Unmark. And he comes back to his skipper. And it's been a bit of a change from Dandenong City that we've seen since the coaching structure has changed over. With Kalina coming in, a more possession-based brand of football, where we saw with Stash Ogdanovsky, they tried to do it, but it did resolve in a lot of long ball football.
Yeah, and you can see the strengths and the drawbacks of it both ways, I guess, so far in Mickey Cholina's short time as head coach of Dandenong City. They have taken the handbrake off and been willing to play a more attacking brand. You
see Jacob Brito getting into the back of Alex Castillo. He's done well at the back. Bit of a veteran now of the NPL Victoria, making his way over from the Heidelberg United side at the start of the season. Jacob Brito gets in behind, cleared up by De Silva, and he'll do well to keep this in. He does so and goes at the line to McShane. Trying to work in with Nick Sete. Some strong challenges from both sides, and Nick Sete turns the ball over. That's probably a good indication of how slippery this pitch is. Nick Sete trying to get some close footwork and just couldn't keep it as he makes an intercept now. He's got a chance to drive forward. Does well to hold it up. He's looking for a player in white. To come back to Ruthven, who does a first-time ball out wide. They played up to Jonas Markovsky. He'll try and get the ball across. He cuts back. And a chance of Vinny Leah. And it's a crucial block from Nathan Cook on the edge of the 6-yard box. First goal of the night. Not given, but a bit of a warning sign there for Dandenong City.
Well, he's always a tough defender, is Nathan Cook. Tough to beat. And he had a stiff leg out there to deny Vince Leah. That would have been a very, very well-composed move from Altona. Mickey Cholina, if they can keep this corner clear, will be thanking his number 4.
The first corner of the evening. Nick Sete to put this one in front of the grandstand. It goes to the back post. Cleared by Nathan Cook. Finds Gavin Denise. Bit of pressure from Adara. And Cook forced to go up the line. He does a good ball up to Slavka. Bit of a circus trick from both players there. And it's played on. Jacob Brito trying to get around Ruthven. The latter does well to defend it and does well to win his side a free kick on the edge of the 18-yard box.
That was an interesting decision from the linesman. It must have been in a better position to see it than we were, because I thought it was just two players, both 50-50. Going for the ball. Yeah, I didn't think either side really infringed on the other there. But good to see a lot of energy early from some of the young attack-minded players in Dandenong City, combining Slavica and Brito. Brito really one that I'm looking out for this evening. I think he's a quality player.
Stajewski puts the ball across the box. Adara, he's got some room to send the ball wide. Finds Werndl. Comes back to Adara. He takes a touch and he's left. Has a shot. It's blocked. A crucial one by Nathan Cook again. And a strong challenge between the two former A-League players, and the younger of the two wins out.
I think we saw some of the A-League experience on show there, because Nick Kalmar took a look to his right-hand side, a little bit out of the peripheral vision. I saw Vince Lear charging. I thought, I'll just make myself still, take the contact, and pick up the free kick.
And the ball turned over rather cheaply for Dandenong City, but they do well to get a throw in. Brady Smith caught in his toes. Just over 9 minutes played here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. We have got some other games in action as well. We'll keep you updated on those scores in a moment. As you see Gavin Denise. Got plenty of room to move around the halfway mark for Dandenong City. Come back to Topalovic in a wide position. Comes central. Brito turns it over. Finds Ruthven, and he can't find Nick Sede. And some good defending there from Castillo. Gives Idara the chance to drive forward for the Magic. Comes out wide for Sede. He's got Unmac to beat. He gets into a good position. He tries to find a strike off. Ruthven will have a strike. It's blocked, and Jacob Brito can play forward. Vinny Leo with a strong challenge, winning the ball, but it won't be able to be kept in. Troy Ruthven coming up against his former side as well. Spent time last year before the COVID break at Dandenong City, so no doubt a few of these boys have crossed teams over the years, as you do in NPL Victoria. And you can really see that fog's starting to settle in now. I reckon by half-time, Lockie, it'll be hard to even see the ground.
It's got a very, I know we're still only in the throes of July. It does have quite a sort of Halloween, sort of an almost ethereal feel to it. It's interesting, I'll give it that. It's entertaining.
It is one of the colder venues to come to in winter in NPL Victoria.
It's up there, it's right up there with the Veneto Club in Bulleen, which is basically its own subclimate there, or microclimate even. It's just, that place is always the coldest venue in Victoria, but Frank Holohan this evening giving it a good run for its money.
You can really see the fog settling on the live stream now as well, as Troy Ruthven sends the ball wide. Finds Stojevski with a great touch off the chest. A chance to go forward here with a 1-2 with Vinny Lear. Good bit of play by the Magic. Stojevski turns it over. Ruthven does well to find possession again. Alex Castillo with a crossfield switch, looking for Werndl. And Werndl forced to touch forward to Adara, who looks for John McShane, works the 1-2, but the offside flag has gone up from our far assistant.
A little bit offside, John McShane, but a good combination between him and Mohamed Idara, who started the game very brightly. It was a very interesting first touch from Tom Werndl, though. I was about to say, it would be quite difficult to control a diagonal ball coming at you through the fog, but he put it straight up, and I think all the Dandenong City players were so confused by what had happened that they let him take the second touch and recover.
Stojevski looking for John McShane. And a good defensive tackle by Jaden Unmac. Vinny Lear gets the ball through the legs of Brady Smith. Comes in for a Nick Sete. He'll try and have a strike. It's blocked by Nathan Cook. That's his third of the night. Adara, the mid-season transfer, plays it out wide, and an overhit cross from Werndl, and it will sail out for a throw-in. And Mohamed Adara has really added something to that midfield for Altona Magic since coming in during the transfer window. They were sort of lacking it, and considering they lost Harry Noon to a season-ending injury, he's probably been a good replacement for Harry.
Oh, he's been such a great pickup, Bryce. We were able to call his first game in Altona Magic colours a few weeks ago against the Oakley Cannons, and he provided so much industry in that game, but just lacked a little bit of the gas tank in his first run out for the club. Seems to have that a little bit more and is composing himself really, really nicely, filling the number 10 jersey quite well.
You see Werndl coming all the way back to King, but he can't quite get the pass there, and Castillo forced to play it out. It's also worth mentioning too, the round of 32 FFA Cup draw was done last night. We saw Avondale get drawn against Port Melbourne in an all NPL Victoria clash. We've also got Hume City coming up against Devonport Strikers, and the big clash of the round of 32, South Melbourne taking on Melbourne City, the current A-League champions, at Lakeside Stadium. That's going to be an absolutely massive night, Lockie.
I think almost every football fan in Victoria will already have penciled that one into the calendar. It's an absolute must-see. It shows us, or will probably more than likely show us the best of what the FFA Cup has to offer. I'll be booking my tickets as soon as they're available.
Ball comes in from Denise, goes to the front post, but blocked out by John McShane. And defended well at the back for Dandenong City. Tusluk Peck playing in left back tonight. Yeah, some pretty juicy fixtures on that list of FA Cup games. Adelaide City drawing a good one. Also Sydney Olympic and Sydney FC. Basically the equivalent of South Melbourne versus Melbourne City.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was almost too good to be true, that FFA Cup draw. Some of the teams that came out, even Broadmeadow Magic against Western Sydney Wanderers, is one that's, you know, to say that's a second tier fixture is saying something about the quality of some of the teams that have been drawn out. I mean, yeah, Melbourne City and South Melbourne is clearly the big one for Victoria, but that Sydney Olympic game and Sydney FC will be on a pretty similar level, I would imagine.
I can tell you now, a fixture to keep an eye out is Peninsula Power and Brisbane Roar. Peninsula Power, they are no easy beats in NPL Queensland, one of the best sides in Queensland, along with Lions FC and the Gold Coast Knights, but some very tasty fixtures. And you've got to remember, A-League teams will be in pre-season, and all NPL sides will be well and truly fit. You'd imagine in form if you're in around a 32.
Yeah, well, South Melbourne clearly showed in their last fixture they've got the fighting spirit that's designed to get you results in the Cup, holding on and getting that win, and getting things over the line on penalties against the Oakley Cannons.
It was a bit of a cup set, you could say, that one.
I think that's fair call based on the recent form of the two sides. There was some murmurings that if that game didn't go the way that South Melbourne wanted it to, that, you know, Esteban Quintas could, you know, whose position as head coach could have been under question, but nothing like an important FFA Cup win to steady the ship.
Adara, he'll get it on his left foot, cuts back to his right, tries to find some space to shoot, sends it across to Sete, and it's intercepted by Slavka. And just to say on the Cup topic, not to be disappointed that we've got South Melbourne taking on Melbourne City, but I would have loved to have seen a quality side like Oakley go up against Melbourne City, because we all know that Oakley can really turn it on. Not saying South Melbourne can't, but when it comes to recent form, South Melbourne haven't been in the best of form of late.
Well, on that point, Bryce, I think the one to watch out for is Avondale.
Absolutely.
I think Avondale, not only are they, I think, have the quality tactically and at an individual level to maybe mix it with some of those teams, and we've seen them do it in the past as well. They were pretty competitive against Sydney FC, even though the scoreline, I think, was 4-2 in the end. But they've got the NPL Vic opponent to start off with. If they can get past that fixture, and they make a deeper progression into the Cup, and they've got a seriously good chance of some A-League opposition.
Absolutely. I think if they drew an A-League team early on, I think they would have been one of the sides you'd pencil in to get a win. Straight up, as we see the ball come across, cleared again by Nathan Cook. He's fourth of the night, having a good game so far. Sete pulling out of a challenge there, and Topalovic, I think, letting him know he pulled out of it too, because that was a pretty good chance to win a 50-50 in a good spot. But nonetheless, it'll be Jaden Unmack with the throw-in. They said when games are going to be for those FFA Cup fixtures yet. I think it was about 3 to 4 weeks away. They're talking early August. See a free kick given to Dandenong City with Topalovic to play this one. He goes short to Brady Smith. Looking for Slavka. And some smart work there from John Stojevski. Plenty of comments coming through our stream tonight. Thank you to everyone for joining us on this live stream. Brenton, the game time temperature here at Frank Holohan. Tonight's game was 3.2 degrees. Well, Brenton, I can assure you, I reckon that'd be giving it some credit because it has to be close to 2 or 1 degree here. It's absolutely freezing. Well, my car said 3 degrees when I pulled up here.
To put it in perspective, I don't know about you, Bryce. I'm wearing gloves. You are also wearing gloves. My hands are still cold.
Yeah.
Still cold. Granted, they're not ski gloves, but they are heavy duty.
I'm even wearing long skins under my pants, but I'm still cold. Can you believe I wasn't even going to bring a beanie tonight? Like I have it in the car.
I thought I was overdressed with the double jacket method that I usually go with. How wrong I was.
Sele saying, go Magic. They're putting in a good shift so far. It's a pretty even contest. We've seen just over 20 minutes played here at Frank Holohan. Fog well and truly setting in beneath the lights. Casillo comes out to Stojevski, and a foul given away by Jacob Brito. And considering we've still got some crowd restrictions here in Melbourne, not a bad turnout tonight for a Friday evening.
Yeah, and I massively respect each and every one of them for turning out in the circumstances as well.
Absolutely, full credit.
Yeah, it's been good. I think the post-lockdown crowds that we've seen at the NPL, not just in the NPL1, I might add as well, in the NPL2, we've seen some very good crowds post-lockdown, so I hope that continues. There would have been about, I was at Bulleen and Kingston on Monday night, there would have been about 600 people there for an NPL2 fixture, so...
Particularly on Monday night as well.
Yeah, very good signs.
See Alex Liver, our referee tonight, giving a free kick in favour of the home side. And if you have just joined us on the live stream, this game tonight, really a relegation battle. Crucial 3 points for both sides as we see Braden Mann just put a foul on Troy Ruthven. Maybe a bit of friendly fire. They were teammates last year. We see the Magic just keep it short. De Silva working in with Ruthven. He goes back to his keeper, Stephen King. And he's done quite well since coming in mid-season. Of course, Chris Oldfield out with a season-ending injury. Of course, one of the best goalkeepers floating around the NPL Victoria for many years. Has been talked about in A-League circles, had trials, etc. So that's the quality that they've lost. But Stephen King's definitely held his own since coming into the side.
Yeah, it's about the worst, or the last thing you need when you're a relegation threatened side is to lose one of the best keepers in this league who could save you a guaranteed 4 to 5 points a season. But yeah, as you said, Bryce, to his credit, Stefan King has come in, had big shoes to fill, but has filled them very nicely so far. A few weeks ago, he was a standout in that game between Altona and Oakley. Obviously, it didn't go the right way from an Altona perspective, but the scoreline could have been very different if Stefan King wasn't involved.
In this game tonight, both sides would have seen their run home and had this earmarked as possibly their grand final to stay in the top flight for next season. We've still got a few games left in the season as we see a cheap turnover from the home side. Got John McShane in the middle in a bit of a scrap with Cook, and he gets the ball. Karanovic somehow lets that sail past him. Lucky for him, he had Jay Dunmack on his right. Vinny Lear wins the ball off Brady Smith and comes central and rides a challenge, and no free kick given. Stojevski with the intercepts. Comes short to Ruthven. He'll go out wide to Werndl. And Tom Werndl with a bit of space to move, and he comes back to De Silva. And all the way back to Stephen King. Magic happy to play it out and keep it short. Ruthven goes to ground, and maybe a lucky free kick there. I think Ruthven was half slipping as he tried to express himself off the position there, and I guess lucky for the Magic, a bit of an easy out.
Yeah, I think you often get the benefit of the doubt when you're holding the ball up with the back to goal, even if you are already on your way down. If a player comes through the back of you, referees are usually pretty keen to give those sort of free kicks, and that's certainly what Alex Lieber did.
Crossfield switch, finds the head of John McShane, and Topalovic gets a second ball. It's probably been the one blight on the game of Altona Magic in the last couple of weeks is that second ball in the front third. They have no issues in the back line. It's just when that ball goes forward, it finds the head of McShane, and there's no runner off him. And I think we just saw there with Nick Sete, the prime example.
Yeah, well, I think listening into a bit of what Savas Patikas can be heard saying to our right on the sidelines is he feels a bit frustrated that John McShane and Nick Sete aren't quite connecting in the way that he would have liked, and that certainly speaks to those issues from second balls that you're speaking about in the front third.
Denise with a good ball out wide for Peck. He's got some room to go forward. He's got Tom Werndl in front of him. Jonas Markovski applying some pressure. And Ruthven with an intercept in the middle of the park. Chance to go forward with Markovski and Werndl working in together on the right wing. Find John McShane. And there's some room to move on this left-hand side for the Magic. They don't find it on this occasion. And Dandenong City find this space we were just talking about, with Nick Kalmar going forward to Brady Smith. Slavka. And Nathan Cook. It's an interesting one I've just noticed here. Normally Nathan Cook and Topalovic play on opposite sides of each other. And tonight they've gone for a switch. I know it's only right and left positioning, but just an interesting tweak for the formation tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't be 100% clear as to why, but it seems to be working so far for them. I think Altona have certainly had more of the ball and edged the chances, but there's been plenty of great blocks in from Nathan Cook, I should say, playing on that left centre-back slot. So
it does make more sense because Cook is left-footed, but they've seemed to have a bit of a trend in the past couple of months of playing on the opposite side to get those diagonal balls in behind. But
maybe with the more possession-focused style of Cholina in mind, he wants the left-footer playing on the left-hand side, playing the balls out wide, and the right foot on the right-hand side. That would be my best estimation of things.
Denise trying to trap the ball in on the edge of his 18-yard box. They find Braden Mann. Takes a touch inside. And De Silva will have the chance to drive forward for the Magic. He'll try and get around to Palovic, and he does well so far to get up here, and he's got some space. John McShane brings it down. He can't get it. Kranovic forced a mile out of his box, and another good chance for the Magic, but some good defending there from Dandy City as the ball returns into play quickly from the Magic. Markovski. And the ball will sail out for a corner. Some good signs from the Magic, Lockie.
Yeah, but Jasko Karanovic, I think as a pure shot stopper, he's up there with the best in the league in terms of his ability to save shots. But if you could fault him in one area, it's a command of the penalty area, of coming off his line. He's had a few moments this evening already where he's played with fire. He's been caught out a few times earlier this season as well. So that's certainly something that Altona could look to target. So he just looks a bit uncomfortable when he's forced to come off his line and try to claim 50-50 balls.
John Stojewski for the Magic puts this one in, goes to the near post, and a glancing header from Castillo sails across the face of goal for a goal kick. Another good chance for Altona. We've just got over 15 minutes in this first half remaining at Frank Holohan, and it'd probably be fair to say these two sides so far, Magic with the better of the chances tonight.
Yeah, I think that's certainly fair. I think Magic have taken the game to Dandenong City more opposite than has happened in the opposite direction. I think certainly the promising sign for Altona is that they have been the side in control and in the ascendancy, and yet that front three still isn't combining in the way that we know it can. Savas Patikas certainly seems to think there is more for this Altona Magic side to give. And if they can find another level, they'll certainly be able to push ahead and get that opening goal that they so desperately want.
Castillo goes long, finds Sete. He's out-muscled by Jaden Unmack. Brady Smith riding a challenge of Vinny Lear. Jacob Brito sends it back to Unmack. But it works out all right in the end. Brady Smith collects in the middle of the park. Sends it back to Nathan Cook. Nick Kalmar dropping deep. And a turnover there from Nathan Cook, and Odara's got the chance to move forward. He's looking for a run in front, but put his hands in the air to sort of say, where is it? John McShane quite static up front, as we see Nick Kalmar in a good position here to find Slavka. And a poor final option there from the youngster for Dandenong City.
Yeah, just the way he hit it, I think, is maybe standing up a little bit too straight. It sort of ballooned upwards rather than going flat to Brito, who could have received a feed and shot early. It's interesting. I had to double check team lineups just then to make sure that Braden Mann is starting on the field for Dandenong City. He's been a little bit quiet so far. I don't think the service has been to the quality or to the consistency that he would have liked so far. Maybe he should just, might be worth thinking about dropping a little deeper to receive possession, because at the moment he just seems a little bit isolated up front, a little bit by himself.
Yeah, Nick Kalmar sitting up there at the moment with him, but you are right, Lockie. There's a lot of compact bodies for Dandenong City in the middle of the park, and you see Stephen King go long here, but even from their FFA Cup fixture against Pascoval the other week, they had about 4 bodies in the middle of the park and had Braden Mann again up top, and it didn't work from that night. So it's obviously some sort of tactic from Dandenong City to sort of really compress that middle of the park, as we see it, a cheap turnover now. Ruthven can drive forward. And Odara just caught flat-footed, does well to keep the ball in, and as I say that, it goes out.
He got close, did Odara, but even there I know he had his pass cut out by Ruthven, but Braden Mann, literally just after we were talking about it, dropped off the line of the front three to come and pick up the ball, got the little chip over the top, and that ball's a few centimetres back from Ruthven. It goes to Nick Kalmar in the centre of circle with plenty of options further afield. Well,
having called them a few times in the past couple of weeks, they do seem to have a bit of a rotating front three. And it's not unusual to see Braden Mann go out wide, to see a very risky ball from Nick Kalmar. It works out on this occasion, and Slavka goes up line looking for Jacob Brito. The youngster trying to lock that one in, and out-muscled by the more experienced Castillo. He's forced to go long. And Nick Sete can't keep this ball in. It will be a throw-in. And it's still an interesting feel in this clash. Like, there's a bit of a hint of nervousness amongst both teams. Not looking to concede this first goal. I think Altona looking the more positive to go forward, but Dandenong City just trying to play it very calm at the back, and it might be going against them at the moment.
I think that's just a mark of the understanding of the occasion that this is for both sides. You know, how important a win in this game is. This could really be the team that loses this game is the one that joins St Albans as the relegated side. So I think maybe there are a little bit of there is a bit of nervousness creeping in this game, maybe.
Stephen King, he goes long. And Tom Werndl with the chance to drive forward for the Magic. Comes back to Vinny Lear with a good ball through for Werndl again. They're inside the box. Nick Sete, Markovsky, and the ball doesn't cross the line. Saved by Kranovic. Must have only been centimetres away from crossing that white line for the first goal of the evening.
Very, very lucky is Jasko Kranovic. Sete avoided taking the first-time shot. I think there was a little deflection from Steven Topalovic, which took all the sting out of the effort towards goal from Jonas Markovsky, and luckily that gave Jasko Kranovic enough time to get back up from his slumped position and keep the ball from scrambling its way over the line. But maybe just seconds earlier in that play before it fell to Markovsky, Nick Sete should have thought about the first-time shot.
Well, having just seen the replay, in front of us here. Karanovic slipped over, so he did very well to get over to that ball. And no word of a lie, he literally saved it just on the edge of the white line. So some good stuff from the Dandenong City keeper to prevent the first goal of the evening. Castillo, he'll go for a crossfield switch, looking for Jonas Markovski. Ruthven brings down for the Magic, finds Tom Werndl. Fog really settling in here at Frank Holohan now as we creep into half-time.
Shout out to Nait, who says it looks cold. Well, if it looks cold, Nait, it is cold. That's the reason.
I can guarantee you, it is freezing. You see John McShane finds the ball in a good position. Nick Sete hits him in the heels, but finds Vinny Leah. He finds Sete again. Trying to find the space to move and shoot. Topalovic clears it on the 6-yard box. Ruthven takes a touch back. Goes to Silva with a first-time ball. Worked out well in the end to find Adara. He goes wide to Stojevski. Gets the ball across. Topalovic clears it. Adara trying to win the ball. And John McShane with a bit of forward pressure on Kranovic. And some good, calm football from Dandenong City to get that out of danger, Lockie.
Yeah. Kranovic, again with the ball at feet. He's looking a little bit shaky. He's coughed it up a few times when he's had to play those first-time balls over the top under pressure from Altona. I'm not sure how that pass ended up going the way that it did from Gavin Denise there. Definitely a bit of a scuffer.
I think the intent was there to try and find it first time, but it didn't work out well in the end.
It almost looks like it came off both feet.
Unmack with the intercepts. Braden Mann playing a bit wider at the moment. Nick Kalmar trying to find him, but good defensive work there from the Magic. Nate, that's why I love streams, nice and cozy and warm. Well, you're spot on there. We'll give you that one.
I didn't like that comment at all. At all. Usually I'm a big fan of the Facebook comments, and please do keep them coming through. But that particular one, reminding us how cold it is here.
Well, there we go. Looks like a scene of a horror movie, like you described at the start of the stream.
I'm glad that's not just a rogue reference from me. That other people agree.
Adara doing well for the Magic tonight, getting in some good spaces. Stojevski finds McShane, some good defensive work from Topalovic. Ruthven with a first-time ball out wide to Werndl to find the space for Altona. Find again, they'll send the ball wide. Ball comes across, looking for John McShane. And he can find the head, but again, Lockie, there's no real option around him as we see De Silva bring the ball down.
Well, I can hear the assistant coaches on the Altona Magic bench are saying they need more willing runners into the penalty area, or people making runs in behind, because the crosses are coming in, but no one is really able to make contact with them.
So you see Markovski with another cross into the box. And again for the Magic. No reward as we see Dandenong City with a heavy touch from Jaden Unmack. De Silva looking for an option. He's probably got a bit of room to shoot. He has a strike from probably about 35 yards out. Did have a centre-back strike written all over it.
Yeah. But again, John McShane is a good target to receive the ball from crosses, but he can't be the only option.
And we see a challenge here. Brady Smith, Vinny Leah. And probably a good indication of how this pitch is playing at the moment. It looks green on top, but it is definitely slipped around a foot with a lot of patchy amounts of dirt around. So it's not an ideal surface to play on.
We've seen a few of those free kicks have to be dished out by Alex Lieber for players who just lose their footing and then get a bit of contact from in behind. Probably one apiece now for both sides.
Stojevski with the header. And Alex Castillo clearing the lines at the back for the Magic. Ruthven plays it short to Vinny Lear. Turns the ball over, and Jacob Brito will have the chance to strike. And in the end, a rather tame shot safely collected by Stephen King.
Yeah, a bit of a shame for Brito. He done very well to turn and find himself a little pocket of space in front of the back four with the opening to shoot. But the hardest part, getting the power behind the finish, was the bit that proved most elusive.
A good ball from Stephen King to find Markovsky. Topalovic strong at the back, and a free kick given. Maybe a bit of a soft one from Alex Lever. Nonetheless, it's played on here by Dandenong City. Kalmar rides the challenge as Nick Setane, and this one's a free kick. Nathan Cook looking for a through ball for Jacob Brito, and he should be able to find this one and keep it in. Does well to find Denise, and a strong challenge in late from Gavin Denise on Castillo. And look, there's a fair shout that there was a clash of boots, but look, probably a 50-50 and the throw in the right result in the end.
Yeah, certainly didn't sound very good at all. Denise and Castiello coming together. Castiello clipping the outstretched boot of Gavin Denise.
Well, the Dandenong City players are questioning the challenge from Castillo, but it was actually the other way around when you look at it on the replay. So I think Gavin Denise quite fortunate not to get a yellow card because the studs were raised, even though he did get injured in the challenge. But it's the way football works sometimes, Lockie.
Yeah, well, both players were lunging for it. I guess the challenge from Denise was perhaps more subtle of the two. Maybe the referees missed that stud contact that we have the benefit of being able to see on the replay. But in any case, Alex Lieber's decision is final. And,
well, we certainly heard the clash.
Yeah, that's true. if they were decided on sound alone, Gavin Denise might be in the showers currently. But players allowed to continue, and he goes unscathed in terms of yellow cards.
The orchestra of football. You could make a CD or an iTunes playlist out of that. As you see Dandy City trying to clear their lines, and Nathan Cook forced to just clear it out of the park. And no real rush here from both sides as we've got half-time creeping up in about 3 minutes' time. Chance for us to get warm as well, or as warm as possible, Lockie. Castillo goes back to Stephen King. And they're going to keep it short. They'll find Castillo. He'll go long to find Sete. It's not a bad ball, but again, Nick Sete sort of caught flat-footed and not even facing the ball on this occasion. So a bit of a worrying sign for Altona Magic.
Yeah, and I wonder if Savas Patikas, how much rope will he give Nick Sete? I don't think he's been very switched on in this opening 45. He's found connecting with his teammates quite difficult, had a few errant touches, and casting an eye over that Altona Magic bench, they've certainly got a few forwards in the form of Demi Hatzimaratis and in particular Stefan Ristic that could come on and fill that kind of slot. So you wouldn't be surprised to see Savas Patikas pull the trigger at halftime. I don't think he will. I think he'll give Nick Sete, because of his quality that he can show at his best, a little bit more time to prove what he can do in the second 45. But he's on thin ice at the moment, would be my assessment.
Taslook Peck turning the ball over for Dandy City. Vinny Lear with some room to move, and he's pulled down. Nick Sete gets the ball. The referee plays it on. Sete enters the box, gets the ball across. He'll try and win the second one. He'll go to ground. Shouts for penalty waved away, and a free header, and a great save. And no, it's not. It's the first goal of the evening. Jonas Markovski with a slight little header. Jasmine Karanovic, I thought he'd palmed it away, Lockie, but quite not enough purchase to get it in. It's the first goal of the evening.
Yeah, he was really caught in no man's land there. It was Jasko Karanovic. The cross came in from Stachevski. Markovski was the player who came through on the header. He didn't really get power. He didn't really get placement. But luckily, the positioning of Karanovic, he wasn't really able to get the elevation that he wanted, a strong palm. I thought he tipped it over, but unfortunately, those Dandenong City fans in the grandstand right behind him, they knew what the final result was going to be. They could only watch on in horror as that one trickled over the top of Dandenong City's number one and into the back of the net.
Because the angle, I thought he got enough purchase on it, but, well, he's outdone me, and that's the first goal of the evening in the 43rd minute.
Unfortunately, the positioning he was off his line, if it was a fingertip right on the line like that, he would have been okay. But given he'd sort of come out, wasn't really set, and then got the fingertip out, and it was only very minimal contact, I don't think it was ever going to be enough to really keep it outside the boundary of that goal. But he seemed convinced as well. He didn't act too desperately to try and make a second effort.
That's why he threw
the surprising thing. So in a very bizarre set of circumstances, in a very bizarre set of weather, Altona Magic find themselves a goal ahead.
And they do it just before half-time. We've got a 1 minute of stoppage time added in his first half at Frank Holohan, and it's a real crucial time to get a goal for any side. As you see, a foul given on Topalovic. And this is what you don't want to see. Just for half-time, you've got a couple of the backline and midfield arguing for Dandenong City.
I think they're just clearly a little bit frustrated. They need that half-time break to Dandenong City to go in, not a goal behind. And the first goal of this game could be so important.
To see Denise, his free kick cleared by Stephen King. Sete tries to collect this one and drive it forward. You'd imagine that the Magic will try and consolidate as we go into half-time. Nick Sete takes his ball up the wing, finds Vinny Lear. He takes a heavy touch, and that will be the half-time break here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. It's 1-0 in favour of the away side, Altona Magic over Dandenong City. Lockie, Flanagan, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, it didn't come in the way that they would have expected. They have been the better side so far this evening. They've created the better of the chances. The final goal was a little bit of a surprise, but it has still come for an Altona Magic side who were, on the balance of the play, better in that opening 45. And they have Jonas Markovski to thank for getting the goal, albeit in an unorthodox fashion and courtesy of an error from Jasko Karanovic, the goal that their superior play in the first half has warranted. Plenty to think about for Mickey Cholina and for Dandenong City as they try to turn things around in this crucial game. It's a 6-pointer, and they've only mustered one shot. So I think Mickey Cholina will be looking very quickly to that bench, which has a few strong players in the form of Sammy Noor and Delano Farrow, who could potentially do some damage in the second 45.
And make sure you do join us for that second 45 minutes here of NPL Victoria action live from Frank Holohan. Welcome back to second half action here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. It is currently 1-0 in favour of the away side, Altona Magic, over Dandenong City. Bryce Ruthven and Lockie Flanagan taking you through the action here tonight. As you can see, it's a very chilly evening here in Melbourne South East. Our referee, Alex Lever, getting us ready for action in this half, and hopefully it's much like the first, because it was pretty end-to-end there at some patches, with Altona Magic getting a late goal. Jonas Markovski with a looping header over Yasmin Kranovic in the 43rd minute, Lockie.
Yeah, it was an entertaining game, and I think it's one that had a little bit of frenetic energy owing to the nerves that both these sides are carrying into this fixture, knowing how important it is in their fight to stay in the NPL top flight. But I think Savas Patikis would have had his nerves settled quite nicely with that goal just before half-time. Fortunate as it was, coming from that uncharacteristic error from Jasko Karanovic, on who the onus, well, the Dandenong City, the side who the onus is now well and truly on to fight back and grab an equaliser early into the half. No change at the half-time break for either side, as we see Nathan Cook with a long ball searching for Gavin Denise. Starting his run a lot higher up the pitch than usual. And, Thomas Werndl turns that one over for the Magic. And Jonas Markovski will try and keep this ball in front of his home bench. Plays the ball in central for Adara. Finds Werndl short. He'll try and drive forward, and the last touch will come off a Dandy City player, so it will be a throw into the Magic. Don't forget as well, if you are watching through the Facebook live stream, to get your comments coming through, interact with Lockie and myself. You can let us know your thoughts on this game. As we see Nick Kalmar gets past Troy Ruthven, but can't get past Adara, who goes to ground. And it'll be the first free kick of the half for the Altona Magic. And not much movement up top for the Magic here, Lockie, so they might be quite content with a short ball here from Ruthven. Either that or maybe lumping it onto the noggin of John McShane. They do go short instead. It's a good ball in to find John Markovski. He enters the 18-yard box. Ball across again. It's not a bad ball. It's quite dangerous. Topalovic deals with it at the moment. And he drives forward. And a strong challenge on De Silva. Neither player pulling out. And Topalovic goes to ground. He threw his body into the challenge and has come off a bit worse for wear on this occasion. And Stephen Topalovic will require some treatment after that challenge. And it's probably a good change for Altona Magic there, just to play a free kick in short. Instead of lumping it long to try and find the obvious target of John McShane, to just play it in short and try and work it in on the deck. Yeah, I think it's a good idea as well. There's only so many times, as good of a player in the air and with ball at feet as John McShane is, there's only so many times you can expect or do the same thing and, you know, expect efficient results. It is a diminishing returns thing. You've got to keep it fresh, and they went short that time. And if the flick in the penalty area connected and ended up going into the path of Vince Leah rather than away from him, if he gets the chance to take on a first-time strike, we could be looking at a very different game. And the way this game's gone so far, you'd have to imagine a second goal early on for the Magic could quite put an end to things here for Dandenong City tonight. See how Stephen Topalovic just a bit winded from that challenge, so should be right to return the action. As Troy Ruthven holding this one up for the Magic and goes back to Castilla. Stajewski plays it short again to Castillo. And the Magic in no rush forward.
And they go long now, looking for Markovsky. His switch wings with Nick Sete. And a good ball out wide to find Stachewski. And the follow-up pass. Can't quite find the target of Markovsky, but it's going to be a throw-in for the Magic.
And Bryce, I just had a chance at the halftime break to check up on some of the other results, the other two games on the Friday night. Finishing up elsewhere in Victoria, Melbourne Knights drawing 1-1 with the Oakley Cannons at Knights Stadium. Sumayoro was the scorer for Melbourne Knights, and Joe Guest from the penalty spot opened the scoring out in Sunshine. But the big result, or the eyebrow-raising result of the evening, is that South Melbourne, despite the enthusiastic, the confidence-raising result in the FFA Cup, their league form continues to struggle. They drew 1-1 with Green Gully at home at Lakeside Stadium, had to be bailed out in the 64th minute by a penalty from Marko Jankovic. So the difficulty, or the going, continues to be tough for Esteban Quintas and his men.
To South's credit, they did play 120 minutes a couple of nights ago, so tight turnaround for them.
It is a good point, but then Esteban Quintas is always rotating.
I was going to say, he is known for
always
squad
rotating
rotation.
the squad, so maybe it's a bit of column A, column B, but in any case, they went behind inside the first 2 minutes. It was Kaio De Godo who scored a thumping header off a Jay Davies corner. And, they did well to at least salvage a point from that game, did South Melbourne.
You can see the Magic here trying to slow the play down. It's definitely getting under the skin of Dandenong City here in these early stages of the second half. Nick Sete, the handball deemed accidental. Troy Ruthven winning the ball off Jacob Brito, and this is what's sort of happening a bit like the first half of Dandenong City. They get into the front third, but they are turning it over quite cheaply.
Yeah, it just feels a little bit like a focal point is lacking. You know, the man is a little bit undersized, and with the amount of rotation that's going on, there's not really someone who's always central to present or can hold the ball up. They kind of experimented with putting Nick Kalmar there as a bit of a false nine against Oakley. Obviously, that didn't work out when you factor in the result.
And here's a chance for the Magic. Sete working in a challenge with Topalovic. And the much smaller man does give away the free kick. They were lucky to get away with that one, Dandenong City. They were a bit exposed at left back for a moment there, and Topalovic with the smarts to just try and release some pressure with a free kick. So Yasmin Kranovic on this one as he goes up the line. De Silva with a strong header. Brady Smith for Dandenong City turns the ball over. He does want to get forward, Smith. And Braden Mann comes central to Slavka. Works him with Nick Kalmar. Kalmar caught in the middle. He's got John McShane on his backside. And De Silva wins a header there at the back. Adara goes to ground. Deemed fair by the referee, Alex Lever. And Castillo to drive forward. He's continued his run, he goes to ground, and Brady Smith will give away a free kick on the edge of the centre circle.
And I think Mickey Choliner is just sensing maybe that this game is in danger of falling out of his side's grasp, and I heard him yell to Delano Ferro straight away after that turnover in possession. So they will bring a change into that front third of the pitch, and it'll be one of the players who, although he's missed recently through injury, was one of their brightest attacking sparks before that.
And he's probably the more likely of the substitutes to make an impact on the game, returning from injury.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Sammy Noor can provide quality at this level, but you know, it's been a bit of a time between drinks for him in the NPL.
And it'd probably be a fair comment to say that he's taking time to settle back into the top flight in NPL Victoria from the last couple of weeks.
Exactly, whereas Delano at least recently, more of the finished article.
Stojevski to put this ball in, cleared out by Nathan Cook. He's been strong at the back tonight for Dandenong City. The ball will come back out. Vinny Lee to put this into the near post, and Koranovic having to get down. Saw that one late, but a good save from the goalkeeper. They played out short through Kalmar. Comes out wide to Peck. And he turns it over, and Nick Sete can drive forward and easily turns the ball over again for the Magic. And a sequence of events, we've seen the ball turned over by both sides. And we'll see that substitution of Delano Ferro replacing the youngster Jacob Brito. So a very like-for-like replacement in terms of positions for Dandenong City.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Unfortunately, Jacob Brito just, as with the rest of the front three today, has looked a little bit isolated. The supply has been in pretty short fashion so far this evening for them. And so Brito is the sacrificial lamb to bring on Delano Ferro, who has so much pace in behind, trying to use it here against the Chesky.
It's probably something Altona Magic are going to have to keep an eye on, his pace, especially coming on as a fresh sub. You know, a ball in behind and he'll get on the end of it, as we see Peck trying to win the ball here. Does well to keep it over Sete. Kalmar finds Ferro. He goes to ground with a slip. Vinny Lear wins the header for Markovski, and Stojevski has a chance to move forward. The fog really settling in now. You can see it against the hill. And Ruthven does well to win that. Free exchange of possession and sends the ball long, but it goes out for a throw-in. It must be said tonight that Ruthven and Vinny Leo have done quite well in the middle tonight, blocking those passages forward for Dandenong City.
I think, in particular, Gavin Denise, who is often so threatening when he's able to distribute from deeper areas, when he sits in front of the back four, has found the going tough tonight. I don't think he's sprayed so many of those diagonal balls to wide players that we've seen from him a lot this season, and that speaks to the work defensively that both Troy Ruthven and Vinny Leah have done. And not only that, but I think it's freed up Mohamed Idara to be a lot more threatening in the front third too.
See a corner for the Altona Magic. Off the back of a good run there from Vince Lear, wearing the captain's armband tonight. Comments coming through our Facebook live stream. Nate saying Altona has stayed more active. That's probably a fair assumption, Lockie, that the more eager of the two sides does appear to be the Magic, as they've got the corner with Stojevski. Goes to the near post, trying to find Sete. Leah sends it out wide for Stojevski again. Cleared by Cook, and Ruthven will be on the edge of the box. He'll have a first-time strike. Deflects out. Peck takes a clearance, and John McShane, near post, collected by Koranovic.
A bit of invention in the attempted strike there from John McShane as Delano Ferro comes through. He's poking it forwards, and the spill is cleared off the line. The Dandenong City fans are trying to say that it trickled all the way over, but Stefan King bailed out by some defensive work there by Altona.
Nathan Cook, he'll send this ball across the 18-yard box as we see the replay here. And do you think that's gone over, Lockie?
I think it's stayed the right side of the line, but it was incredible work, I think, from Stocheski to clear it off. Absolutely bailing out Stefan King, who completely missed it as it rolled forwards.
And very close to being a goal looking at that replay.
I think that speaks to the threat that Delano Ferro can pose, because he created something out of nothing. He didn't even touch the ball, and it nearly ended up being key
And
to
we'll
a
give
goal.
the benefit to the assistant referee, who's in a much better position than us. But looking at that live stream replay, oh, very close. Very close. As we see a substitution being made here for the away side tonight. It'll be Nick Sete coming off, being replaced by Dimi Hatzimaratos. So a real like-for-like replacement. Hatzimaratos giving you a lot of experience off the bench. Can play central as well, so might see a tweak of formation here slightly for the Magic.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised to see him maybe get a little bit closer to John McShane and maybe play as a second striker, almost feed off the physical presence that McShane can bring and get a little bit of action off the bounce pass.
And it was probably the most obvious change that we could have predicted.
Yeah, I think Nick Sete, unfortunately, as much as I rate him very highly as a player, was the individual in this 11 with whom Savas Pratikis was least satisfied over the course of the game.
Well, as we see, the ball comes straight across our commentary position, gliding the camera lens. We'll have to credit De Silva there for not hitting the camera, and us as well.
I was going to say, if he hit the lens, I dare say our cameraman would have been invoicing Daniel De Silva there.
See, Farrow with some quick footwork, looking dangerous since coming on. And Denise puts a shot across. Slavka with a follow-up. Braden Mann trying to shield the ball off. Comes back to Smith. Braden Mann across the face of goal. Not over yet the danger. De Silva forced to toe it out. Again, another spill from Stephen King in that 6-yard box, Lockie. And some real danger signs here at the back for Altona Magic.
Well, Stephen King, I think he's used a few of his 9 lives. They often say that keepers have cat-like reflexes. Definitely used a couple of the 9 in the last few minutes as Dandenong City really start to press the issue and banging on the door a little bit. Some good work in the penalty area from Slavica to control the ball and lay it off. But they need to make this breakthrough count is the important thing, Bryce.
And it's strange. He had a good first half, Stephen King, so the change of ends hasn't really helped him.
Maybe it's just something about that end, Bryce,
that end
because we saw what Jasko Koranovic did in the first half, defending that goal, or rather not defending that goal.
True.
When Jonas Markowski was able to score. Might just be something about that penalty box, which is looking a bit, colour-wise, a little bit dark and dirty. Maybe a little bit soft underfoot, perhaps.
I'll tell you what, Janil De Silva, like Nathan Cook at the other end, the two centre-backs tonight have been very strong for their sides, winning almost everything in the air. So it's a credit to the two centre-backs. As we see Jonas Markowski get a ball across the face of goal. Jaden Unmack with a crucial stop. Topalovic drives it out. And Braden Mann will keep it short. Back to Cook. He can drive forward, and it's intercepted by John McShane. Smith with a good ball over top of Farrow. Nick Kalmar trying to get into some space to shoot. He gets a strike away. And an indirect free kick has been awarded for a high foot against Braden Mann. It looks like it's on Castillo. And probably the right call there from Alex Lever. It did look like a high foot as we see the replay, and he's gone to ground a bit late. Maybe just to slow things down for the Magic, but probably the right call from the referee.
Again, though, the chance, or the half chance, coming from Delano Ferro, getting on the ball and just making things happen every time he gets near it at the moment. Such a dangerous player, not just with his speed in behind, but he makes such quick decisions as well with the ball at feet. Certainly gives defenders a lot to think about.
Slavka for Dandenong City, coming back to Topalovic. And John McShane blocks it, and it will be a goal kick. Topalovic looking to drive this out at a slow pace for Dandenong City. creeping forward and sends the ball long, looking for Rowe. Castillo on this occasion does well to knock the ball out from behind him. Nathan Cook in the middle for Dandenong City. Comes across to Peck. Uses Gavin Denise. He puts the ball in on the deck. Da Silva blocks it out. Cook finds it short. Nick Kalmar goes to ground, but the referee waves it away. And Vinny Leah will send this ball out left for Hatzimaradis. The Magic happen to keep it on that left-hand side. Hatzimaradis with a good ball out to Tom Wandle. And Markovsky's cross is blocked by Peck. It'll be another corner.
I think in the circumstances, Altona Magic not in a particular hurry to play this game.
It's interesting for a clash that's really a 6-pointer, as you described it. The intensity has really sort of been sucked out at the halftime break. It's not really as fast-paced as I thought this game was going to be.
Yeah, well, I think as things go on, we may see Dandenong City begin to get more desperate. But as I was trying to say, I don't think Jonas Markowski will be too disappointed that's a corner, because it eats up valuable seconds for Altona, and they could certainly grab a second from the corner. They've got a lot of aerial threat.
Ball comes in, edge of the 6-yard box, and it will be another corner, cleared off the line by Nathan Cook. And the Altona Magic side searching for their second win in the month. Of course, they have had about, I think it's 8 draws for the season. The most out of any side in NPL Victoria this year, and they have become the draw kings across the league. As Hatzimaradis with this ball into the near post. Vinny Lear tries to lock it in, but Dandy City can break their lines. Da Silva doing some good defensive duties there on Farrow. They've got a little battle amongst themselves here, and interesting to watch how they are using Farrow with his pace across the edge of the box as Nathan Cook drives forward. Kalmar goes for a first-time ball, but it's probably the run that they were looking for off Farrow on that occasion.
Yeah, well, another thing that interesting about the second half substitute for Dandenong City, Jelena Farrow, despite his stature or lack thereof, very low centre of gravity, still very good at holding up the ball and not afraid to do so. Nearly profited earlier trying to hold it up and play in a runner on his left shoulder. It didn't quite get the pass through the legs of the defender, but it's just another facet that he's got to his game.
Jay Dunmack puts his ball across, cleared on the edge of the 18 by Ruthven. Topalovic trying to ride a challenge. Kalmar sends this out wide to Denise, and it's cleared by Werndl. And Denise seems to have moved a little bit out to the left-hand side now. It's a bit uncharacteristic for him to play on the left wing, being a holding midfielder for City. See Slavka on the ball. Unmack putting the ball inside the 18-yard box, and Stephen King safe hands on this occasion in front of the grandstand. And he plays it out to John Stojewski. Comes back to Castillo. He finds Da Silva. Goes long looking for John McShane. And Slavka in some space to move forward here for Dandenong City. This is Braden Mann, who's out on the wing. Slavka trying to drive it central, and John McShane can hold this one up. He invites some runs across, and Jonas Markovsky, if he found that ball, I think he was going to be offside anyway.
Well, it was poked forward vaguely in the direction of John McShane, who just instantly gave up on it. There is no way a man the size of John McShane has the pace to get on that one in behind.
He's going to his feet. He's not going to get it.
He didn't even bother to gamble is the most entertaining thing about that. He's just like, nah, that's not my pass. He saw the hand, he didn't like it, he instantly mucked.
Nathan Cook plays the ball up for Farrow. The Geo on the surface here clears it for him, and Altona Magic having to put it over the back gully. Now, this is one advantage here. If you're trying to hold a game out, the gully behind us, behind the camera, is quite lengthy. So if you kick a ball over, there's only 3 balls on the pitch. You've got a bit of time wasting to do, and you can already see one of the marshals or the security guards for Dandenong City behind the goals in case it goes over, because it's a very good time-wasting venue, this one.
Yeah, it does waste some valuable seconds. The only danger is you may end up knocking out a kangaroo that's passing through.
So we'll see a corner here for the home side. It'll be Gavin Denise to put this one in. He comes in, edge of the 6-yard box, punched by King. Ball out to Smith. It's a touch inside. It's not a bad ball in for Farrow. And a good save down to his left from Stephen King. Still in play. And De Silva lumps the ball long up to the halfway line. And a good save there from Stephen King for the Magic.
Well, what a script, what a story that would have been for Dandenong City if the smallest player on the pitch in Delano Ferro scores a header that bailed them out and got them the equaliser that they're searching for so hard in the second 45. But Stefan King, who started this second half a little shakily, really stood up in that moment. One good save from the corner with the sort of one-handed punch away, and then another good one low down to his left to deny Farrow, who had the placement perfect into the bottom right corner. Stefan King did well to match the effort.
Smith puts the ball into the box, cleared out by De Silva. And Adira finds the feet of McShane, who goes out wide to Hatzimaratis. McShane, Markovsky, they drive forward. Vinny Leah goes in for a 50-50, and the ball comes out wide now to Markovsky. Comes in, he gets a strike off. Adira, he'll try and get a strike away. Ball comes across, handball, not given. Finds Vinny Leah with a good left foot strike, and the shouts of handball waved away as Nick Kalmar plays it out short for Slavka. The advantage given here on Denise. And we've just seen the replay of that. What are your thoughts on that call?
Well, the ball, it definitely came off the arm of, I think it might have been Jaden Unmack in the penalty area. Maybe even Slavica. But I think the question is not whether or not it made contact with the arm, but was the arm in an unnatural position? Looking at the replay, I don't think it was. I don't think it was. And that is probably the saving grace between another penalty kick for Altona Magic and the player being allowed to continue with the scoreline at 1-0.
And we've got Nathan Cook here getting some treatment from the physio. No doubt the referee stopping his watch. At 74 minutes played here at Frank Holohan. And we can see a bit of treatment right beneath us here. It's an interesting move. I don't know what he's trying to fix.
Might be the adductors, perhaps? No, it's not a stretch that I've seen before, I will say that.
And it comes back to Kranovic to restart play.
Now, the good thing is, as odd of a stretch as it was from the physio,
seems effective.
it was effective because Gavin Denise, or Nathan Cook rather, is able to continue. Good work from the physio, Simon Story, working some wonders.
Might have to try that move sometime. I've got some tight hips.
Interesting fact about Simon Story, he's named to play NPL2 football in Werribee tomorrow for Langwarrin.
Oh, is he?
If that is the same Simon Story, the 39-year-old former A-League defender, he's been an injury cover player for Langwarrin this season in the NPL2, played a bit of FFA Cup as well. Okay. He's named in the squad. So provided it's the same one, yes, he has got the trip to Werribee to look forward to tomorrow. 3 p.m. at Galvin Park.
Denise finding Smith. Comes back to Cook. It's recovered well after Simon Story's frog stretch. We can call it.
We can call it that.
And Ruthven will play this out. Chance for Vinny Lear to drive it forward. And there's some good numbers here. Markovsky with a strong challenge. Ruthven, he's got some space to move and sends a good ball out wide to Hatzimaradis, who stayed on side. And he can drive inside the 18-yard box, and he turns it over quite cheaply in the end there, Lockie.
Yeah, it was annoying when he was set up so well by the diagonal ball across from Ruthven. The little step over, he tried to deceive the defender, but Jaden Unmack certainly wasn't buying what Demi Hatzimaradis was selling. He completely stood him up.
About 15 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. As you see, another substitution being made for the Magic. It'll be Nick Ristic coming on in number 11. And he'll be replacing number 9, the target man, John McShane. So it'll be a different looking forward line. We get a bit more pace out of Stefan Ristic, who was sent off in their last win, surprisingly and probably more astonishingly.
He's had
against South Melbourne.
He's been involved in some very interesting events since the end of the lockdown, as Stefan Ristic. Of course, that game against Oakley as well, he wasn't able to come on the field. Altona had to take a corner with 10, and they conceded. So
that's right, he got the blame for it.
And he got the blame from
from
the assistant coach.
I remember that.
He's been involved in some very strange things, but is it a risk taking off your main focal point as you try to press the game? You know, can you... the advantage you get with the pace in behind, attacking in those transitions, how does that balance against the loss of the player who can win those outballs? It'll be an interesting question.
I think at this stage in the game, like, it's probably not a bad call from the coaching side of Altona.
I think it's the right call. The transition is going to be the route to goal as Dandenong City start to take more of the ball. So utilising as much pace in behind as they can, with Hatzimaradis, Ristic, and Jonas Markovsky all capable of running in behind. I think it's a smart call. I'm just conscious of the fact that sometimes when you're launching those clearances away, it can be very valuable to have a big man to play those balls down to the more pacier forwards in transition. But like I said, only time will tell.
I think it'll be safe to say that Nick Ristic won't be kicking the ball away tonight, because he got a second yellow for doing that at Lakeside the other week and got sent off in their first win. So
he definitely will not be doing that. He'll definitely be defending any and all corners that come his way as well.
The long ball does find a head of Topalovic, but it does fall on the feet of Vinny Lear. Stajovski, who finds Ruthven, comes out wide for Markovsky, and the offside flag goes up against Markovsky. And the winter temperatures definitely settling in here to Frank Holohan tonight. The fog still hanging around as well. It's about 3 degrees here at the moment in Melbourne southeast. As Markovsky has a chance, he goes to ground. It'll be another chance for the Magic to slow this one down.
Hasn't exactly been an 11 out of 10 standout tonight, Jonas Markovsky, but I think he's performed his role really well. When he's picked up the ball, he's just hit the lines. He hasn't thought too much about it and picked up some good free kicks and some crosses that have deflected out for corners that have helped to slow down the time and wasted away to the advantage of Altona.
Nick Kalmar finds this one in the middle of the park. He sends it wide for Denise. Got Warland to get past. Back out to Smith. He goes to the back post to Slavka. In front of the grandstand, he puts it into the back netting.
I know that the Dandenong City side in their front three, they're not exactly blessed with a plethora of verticality, but they do keep crossing it into their smallest players on the field. The good thing for them is it does sort of seem to be working. They are finding those openings. But it just feels like they need to find another level. You know, this is their season potentially on the line here.
They've probably got one of the smallest forward lines in NPL Victoria.
Yeah.
Mixed with one of the taller back lines as well. So it's a mix of heights.
Maybe we might even see one of those taller midfielders or defenders pushing their way forward as this game goes on. Because it's not as if they've got that lanky forward type cover to bring on off the bench either. So we'll have to come from the players on field. Maybe Nick Kalmar, a player you could gamble with and throw further forward.
Good first time ball through to Farrow with the ball across the park, looking for Braden Mann. And that rough 6-yard box might have just got the better of him there, because that was a good chance for City to bring it back to one apiece.
Really, all the action has been in that penalty area, Bryce. It's bobbled around, created a lot of chaos. And Braden Mann very nearly profited in that chaos. It was a great cross in from Delano Ferro, maybe just a little bit too much pace on it, which caused it to bobble in the way that it did and just past the outstretched leg of Dandenong City's number 9. But they need more of that to Dandenong City if they're going to grab an equaliser, and they're bringing more attacking firepower onto the field now as Slavica comes off and Sami Noor is the player to replace.
Of course, Sami Noor coming up against his former NPL Victoria club tonight.
I think it was 2 goals in 21 appearances in season 2019 for Sami Noor at Altona. If he can grab his whole Altona goal tally in one game for Dandenong City tonight, they'll be very pleased.
Gavin Denise to drive forward for Dandy City. Cook plays the ball up the line, and Silva happy to clear this one over the fence, but unfortunately it's a tree, so it's not down the back gully.
Not the valuable time-saving enterprise that he would have hoped for.
And a free kick here in a dangerous position for Dandenong City. Foul from Janis Markovski, and it'll be Gavin Denise to put this one in for the Croatian club. You can see a 2-man wall set up by Stephen King. A lot of bodies on the edge of the 6-yard box. And the ball's whipped in, goes to the near post, can't beat the wall. A chance for Janis Markovski to drive forward. You can get a ball across, and he's gone for the ambitious attempt, you could say, from halfway.
I think ambitious Bryce would probably be being a little bit generous to Janis Markovski.
I'm a generous guy sometimes.
You are a generous guy, and it made even more ambitious by the fact that Janis Markovski had the entire bench in his right ear saying, Steph is on. Steph is on. Stefan Ristic was on and open on that left-hand side. He had acres of space in which to manoeuvre. That long ball that was played forward should have been going diagonally into the path of his teammate from Janis Markovski.
See Sami Noor trying to get past John Stojewski. Nick Ristic can drive forward here, the fresh substitute for the Magic. Riding a challenge of Smith and goes to ground, but nothing given from the referee. As you can really see, the fog starting to settle in here at Frank Holohan. Feels like we're kind of just playing under a big dark cloud.
It feels like we're playing on a mountain. Like there's low-lying clouds flying overhead. It really is quite astounding.
It's like a scene out of a horror movie. Denise will get a strike away. Good save from Stephen King at his near post in the 83rd minute.
Tried to catch out Stefan King by shooting early, did Gavin Denise. King was alert, got down well, managed to get his whole body behind the shot as well.
There was a great indication of how foggy it was. The ball went up, you couldn't even see where it went to.
It's unbelievable. But I must say, we questioned the rationale and the methodology behind Gavin Denise moving further forward and occupying that left-hand side of the pitch. He's done a pretty good job there.
He has, yeah. He's finding a lot of space. That's the good thing. Maybe that's what the coaching staff wanted, to find some space in the wide angle and drive in. And the fog here is definitely getting lower and lower by the minute. It's actually quite eerie. See Ruthven working with Ristic. Send the ball out wide. It's cleared by Farrow. And Braden Mann, he goes to ground for Dandenong City, and it will be a free kick and also a yellow card for the left back, John Stojewski. Just over 5 minutes remaining for Dandenong City to salvage something out of this clash. As we see Alex Lever get us underway again. Nick Kalmar sitting fairly deep for Dandenong City. Looks to play in for Rowe, and it's an intercepted ball. De Silva. Strong header to find Hatzmaradis and couldn't quite find the pass he was looking for to Ristic. The Magic do well with a high press and a good ball in, and not straight enough for Nick Ristic, but some good signs from the Magic late in this clash. See Topalovic, he goes over the top. Wallen with the first time clearance up into the fog and over the fence behind our commentary position.
Unfortunately for Altona, no seconds gained. The linesman on the broadcast side was very swift with the second ball there.
See the comments coming through still saying it's not fog, it's smoke from the Chabapi grill. We wish it was. It would smell pretty good.
Definitely smelled very different to how it does now.
Cook sitting a lot higher up the park for Danny City. Central ball, Hatzmaradis clears it out, and Vinny Leah can try and clear this one with Stojewski. And they can't quite get enough purchase on that one, the Magic. And a strong challenge from Ruthven. Ristic trying to put some pressure onto Pavlovic at the back. He does well. And it'll be a free kick against the Magic. And a bit of an interesting one there. They've just ignored Ristic staying on the ground, and they'll be a corner, but no. Alex Lever just ignoring the injury for Stefan Ristic. Ball comes out on the edge, cleared by Ruthven. Gives the Magic a chance to clear up. Smith. De Silva with the clearing header. Adara, a chance working with Markovski. And a turnover here, and Cook, he'll send the ball out wide to Kalmar. He'll try and get a strike away. De Silva commits. Ruthven blocks the attempted shot. It comes out wide to Denise. There'll be a strike across the face of goal, and that was the best opportunity in recent times for Dandenong City.
Well, they've been a whisker wide of the goal on both sides of the frame now of Dandenong City. Thought the chance might have filtered away after it was initially clear, but it fell to Nick Kalmar, whose ball in to Gavin Denise was inch perfect. Unfortunately, the finish wasn't so from Dandenong City's number 8. But I say you cannot fault their effort in the second 45. They have really tried to take this game to Altona. But the Magic, probably the aid of a bit of magic at the moment, are holding them at bay.
Alex Lever trying to get play underway as quickly as possible. We're in the dying stages of this clash. So the ball comes out of the fog. Wallen plays that up the line, and Peck will have to deal with this one. And Topalovic will drive forward for Dandenong City. Sammy Noor sends this wide, and it's intercepted by Stojewski. And Vinny Lear can get up the line. Finds Ruthven in the middle of the park. And overhits the pass and about to hit stoppage time at Frank Holohan. And we're going to see 5 minutes of stoppage time added on. So still plenty of time for the home side to salvage something out of this one. Peck. He finds Cook. Denise. Adara to drive forward. Trying into the box. Cleared out by Topalovic. And some room to move here for Dandenong City if they want to counter-attack. Peck finds Farrow. Nick Calmar, he'll have a strike. It's not a bad one. King, and it's a goal from Nick Calmar with a great strike from about 35 yards out. Stephen King couldn't deal with it, and it is 1-1 at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex.
They fell the wrong side of fortune in the first half with respect to goalkeeping errors, Bryce. But now the ledger has reset. Nick Calmar launching a hopeful shot forward. Stefan King, who in this second 45 has come up trumps time and again for his side, saving all the important shots. But there wasn't anything about that one that he could do. It was an absolute calamity from Altona's number one. And the goalkeeping errors are one apiece, and so too now. Here's the scoreline.
Well, it was a good strike from Nick Calmar, but must have had a bit of swerve on it from the angle that we couldn't see, as the fog definitely sweeps in here to Frank Holohan. It's all to play for in extra time. Got about 3 and a bit minutes remaining. And there's plenty of jeers coming from the grandstand against Stephen King after that one.
Altona are in genuine danger of losing their teammates here because the fog is white, the jerseys are white.
I told you last time I called a game in these conditions, you couldn't see much of the second half on that hill. You couldn't even see the hill. See Vinny Lear comes out to Ruth and he'll spread the ball wide to Wallen with some room. He'll have a strike. He'll try and chip the keeper, and Kranovic safely lets that go for a goal kick. Kranovic will go long. Markovsky with a good header finds Hatzimaradis. Vinny Lear will play us out wide to Stojevski. He finds Vinny Lear on the stomach. I think he tries to avoid that one, Vinny Lear, and he's turned the ball over as we see Gavin Denise drive forward to the left wing. Works in with Peck, gets ready to put a ball across. Finds Sammy Noor, and a fingertip save over the crossbar from Stephen King. He's redeemed himself in extra time. So that was a great header from Sammy Noor and an even better save from Stephen King.
Well, Stefan King, he was still shaking his head from being responsible for the equaliser, but he's levelled things out with that save.
Ball comes in from Denise, going to the back post. Cleared off the line by Stephen King, and a free kick given by Alex Lever. And some nervy signs here for Altona Magic. The NPL Victoria Draw Kings really looking for 3 points tonight for both sides in this relegation battle they both face.
I think this is the greatest frustration. Neither coach is happy with the 1-1 draw because while it's not another loss on the ledger, 3 points is an absolute must. Neither side is satisfied with a draw in this fixture.
Well, St Albans and Eastern Lions, they'll be happy with this result if it stays locked at 1-1. So we see a free kick late in stoppage time for Altona Magic. Potentially the last play of the game. Stephen King will come up towards the halfway line to take this one. He drives it across the pitch. Looking for Markovski. He brings it down well off the chest. Peck defends well. Trying to lock this one in the corner. And it should be an Altona Magic throw-in. It won't be. Kalmar brings it down for Denise. And the free kick given away by Vince Lear. And the Magic really trying to slow things down to stop a counter-attack. As you see the ball from Topalovic intercepted by Stojevski. And Jaden Unmark happy to play it up the line of Sammy Noor. Works in with the 1-2 with Braden Mann. Ruthven with a strong challenge. He does well to win the ball. But that will be full time here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. 1-1 in this relegation contest. The battle will continue for both these sides with 1 point apiece heading into the home stretch of this NPL Victoria season. Lockie, your thoughts?
Well, there's not much more you can say about it, Bryce. It was a relegation 6-pointer that fizzled out for both sides. A draw really helping neither team. I think on the balance of play, probably a fair result. Altona controlling the first 45, Dandenong City taking things the other way in the second. On the balance of play, the fair result, but still one that is of no benefit to either team. Altona, they've got plenty of draws in the locker. They didn't need another one. They needed 3 points to push themselves away from Dandenong City. Leave those two of Dandy and St Albans off in the distance in the relegation battle, but they weren't able to do it. They couldn't hold firm, particularly Stefan King, the player who wasn't able to hold firm in the second half that gave Dandenong City the lifeline that they needed. But really the frustration for both these two sides this season is only set to continue with this result.
Don't forget, plenty more action across NPL Victoria fields tomorrow and Sunday, so make sure you join our commentary team on the NPL Facebook and YouTube channels. My name is Bryce Ruthven, joined tonight by Lockie Flanagan. Until next time, bye for now.